Is up, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? We have a solid Wednesday. Should be a fun one to trade for sure. Right now, just looking briefly at all of these stocks that we're trading for this month. They all are qualifying, at least as of now. So we'll see what happens as far as we still have 29 more minutes to go until we know for sure, obviously, where these things open. But unless we're missing something, I think we should have access to trade everything today. So we will see. As you guys are piling in, we'll take a look at some of the SPY, the Qs, some of the stocks that are moving today as well, which I think is a lot. Everything, the entire market is gapping down. Be pretty cautious at open. It would be a retest day, a pretty decent sell-off, or at least a good range. Some people being trapped yesterday into the SPY. Like I said, the entire market's gapping down. Probably will expect some type of bullish move out of the gate and then maybe a slight rollover later, but we will see. Let me get up the SPY chart, get an idea for where we're at on the daily with this gap that's happening today. And I believe we have the Fed talking today as well. What's up, Peggy? We got Paul on YouTube as well. What is going on, team? Appreciate you guys joining me. So we are gapping down into some of the pretty much moving average range. I got the 89, the 29, the 21, the 34, and the 55. That is all in this range. So all of those moving averages, we blew past them. We are at a decent support zone, at least in terms of moving averages. We do have a little bit of a double bottom pre-market, and this would actually be a higher low, starting to break out of the neckline. So we might get a little bullish move into the open, and then we'll have to see. Like I said, I still think we get some kind of a bearish move. I mean, we just had a lot of buying, like a lot of buying really quick. So like Tesla was up 51% within 10 days or 17 days or something like that. It's just absolutely crazy. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one small down day, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row for the market just to absolutely push up higher. Let's even do a fib on this one, just to find out where the 50 and the 618 is. I don't honestly think we're getting into that range yet, but yeah, we're at the 38. So could we come lower? Absolutely. The 50 is not even until just under 440. 440 would be a whole number if that starts to break. The 618 comes into about 433.61. So do I know that this is the biggest? This is the move. This is where we start turning. We start going absolutely negative. Not 100% sure. Oh, I got the black screen on. Yep. I guess that doesn't help anybody. Good call. Let me do a new share. Gotcha. All right. And you guys can hear me. Audio is good. All that, right? just as I thought it was just me. No, it's not you. It's actually just me. So yeah, but when I make a boo-boo, everybody feels the effect. So everyone's like, I don't get it. I don't get what's happening. Yeah, we got the visual coming in YouTube, by the way, you guys, it's like a 7-second or 10-second lag, so the screen will be up when you guys but probably also when you hear me say that, you'll also be realizing the screen's up there. I think it just popped up on YouTube. All right, awesome, guys. So again, we have higher lows pre-market on a very small time frame. All of our moving averages are right in the zone. So seeing us kind of come into this, we should probably get some type of a bounce. Let me redraw those fibs just so we get a better visual as far as that goes. But we're right at that 38%. And again, the 438.93 is really the 50%. I would definitely expect at some point, this is a daily picture, so it could be a little bit longer term. Again, maybe some kind of a bounce, fade this gap up today, look to come down, probably close. I think I don't know. The Fed, I think, is talking today, so that could change things as far as obviously how we think about things. But I wouldn't be surprised if we actually close in the area that we're at now. Right. I think this range is going to be very tough to break through, especially when a lot of the day I think we have to try to fill this gap. So if we're unless we out of the gate, just everyone buys a dip, we fill it very quickly, and then we have the entire rest of the day to start working through those moving averages. Otherwise, I think it's going to take a little bit of time to start to break all of those moving averages that are sitting right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is around the area that we close in today. But let me see the upside and downside for the SPY itself. If we do pop out higher, where our point of controls are. So yesterday's point of control, which was retested yesterday, that is 454.33. One that has not really been retested is up at 456.21. So where does that put us? 456.21. That would put us relatively high, all things considered. So that would probably be in a really flip around, turn around, bullish day. That would be probably the target, but honestly, I think that takes a little bit to get there before that. Otherwise, to the upside, we have VPOX at 448.19 to the upside. 449.12 is another one. 450.13 is another one. And the strongest one realistically is about 452.31. So that's probably, if we fade higher, I'd be looking first probably for about 450. That's going to be a nice whole number, sentimental number as well. And then 452.31 to the upside. To the downside, if we sell, so if we start bouncing pre-market, and market's probably going to have a little bit of panic in it, people are going to try to sell some positions. I think the SPY ends up coming down to 445.32 would be a bounce spot for the downside. If we start breaking that, we have a couple levels lower, so 444.45 and 443. So we'll see. We're right in the mid range. The first spot I want to see how it interacts to the bullish side is about 448.24. If that breaks, my next target is that 450 and 13 cent zone. So honestly, we're kind of smack in the middle of no man's land. It's going to depend. Do we buy up pre-market? If we do, I'd probably be looking to short. If we're right around this range, I'd probably be looking to fade this thing higher. So it will be, I know I said a bunch of nothing. It is, it will be really all dependent on pre-market. I think that's going to be extremely important. Qs on the daily, so roughly about the same. Qs do look a little bit weaker, so we did break the 89, which on the SPY, we're just sitting on top of that still. SPY is still a little bit weaker as far as all the tech goes. We do have very similar double bottom, higher lows, but on a daily basis, I think we are just a tad weaker. Let's pull through Tesla. And I personally look at SPY a little bit more than I do Qs throughout the day, but I know a lot of guys look at Qs, and especially because a lot of the stocks that I trade is tech-based stocks. Probably should be looking at Qs. Tom says, is this TD Ameritrade? Yes, this is Thinkorswim. Correct. TOS. Tesla, let me get the VPOX for Tesla, but it is obviously gap down, pretty much like the rest of the market. If you're looking for gaps today, if there's anything gapping bullish that you guys like, let me know, because that would at least be doing something different than the market. Usually when you get a big, massive gap down, oh man, Tesla, woo, could be in a little bit of a danger zone. A little bit lower on Tesla, we start to break this little high wave. This candle here had decent volume. The next real candle with volume is this one right here, and that's roughly about $1,000. I did call on Friday. I was like, I was like, I mean, I was calling for that day. So, but you know, sometimes I get a little wild with my predictions. Uh, but I was like, yeah, $1,002 is where I think Tesla goes. Obviously, over the weekend they came out with numbers. We did get a little pump. I was like, I guess we're not getting there yet. That's still my target though. Not 102. $1,007.79. I do think we have the ability to get there. Obviously, again, as the market wants to probably fade again higher, retest some of those gaps, fill those in a little bit. The first stop, if I could get some type of short on Tesla closer to about 1080.37, that's my first spot. My next spot, which I think is a little bit more solid, would be 1092.86. So if we break through that first 1080, I'm looking for 1092, and the next and probably final one will be 1102 if we get back there. I don't know if we can today. Again, if the Fed comes out and they are maintaining basis points and all that stuff, maybe market relaxes a little bit. We did go down yesterday based off of comments made by some of the chair that we probably need to do a little bit more in terms of raising rates and how quickly we do it. And that's normally from somebody that's pretty dovish on the markets. So the fact that she was kind of flipping a little bit freaked the markets out a little bit. We still have Ukraine. We still have Russia conflict. Honestly, I think a lot of the market has priced most of that in, unfortunately, because it is still a horrible situation. It is still currently going on, but I do think a lot of the market, unless we start talking about chemical warfare again, I don't know that that's going to play as much into the markets. So when we were really whipsawing back and forth, that was more of the headlines. Now I think it's coming down more to the Fed, which we do have that Fed meeting today. But Tesla, yeah. So if we get some kind of upside, first stop 1080, and the bigger one for me, honestly, is about 1092. If we could break through that at all, then I think the last stop of Tesla today was 1102. I don't know if I said 1102 twice, but 1092 and then 1102. So we'll see. Again, I do think Tesla's in a little bit of a danger zone, and I do think at some point, whether it's today, whether it's sometime this week, that $1,007 price range target is where I want to head into. NVIDIA, really big sell day yesterday. I mean, if we compare this to AMD, AMD did sell, but nothing like NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been a lot stronger than AMD. That's why I was a little bit surprised about the bearishness yesterday. But we did break down, so it's not quite a 10 EMA play, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 red days in a row. We had some type of buying. Some bulls got a little bit excited. As soon as that started to break, I mean, NVIDIA just started to crumble. The lows pre-market 247.31. I don't know if that's a real wick that just came in now. Breaking news. NVIDIA's fixed. We just had some kind of wick. I don't know if that's a real wick. That might just be a misprint in Thinkorswim. I don't really see any follow through on that. But right now, close to about 249. So this one, we are below the moving averages. It would make absolute sense if this thing fades up higher at open. With the 10 EMA strategy, so we got the positives and the deltas of it. The delta to it is the fact that when things gap down, all of the moving averages are going to be above us. So we're probably not going to be able to play a lot of the bullish move out of the gate. We might have to just wait and then look for that fade down. But I do think there is some weakness out there in the market. What's up, Brock? Rock is in the house. Targets on NVIDIA, though, where I think it could go to today. We have a lot of room to the downside, like a lot. Oh, no, actually, we covered a lot of that. Yeah, so to the downside, we're looking about 245.19. And, man, I would love for this thing to run bullish. So, actually, right now, we have a little bit more room to the upside than the downside. First target on NVIDIA, and again, whether it gets there or not, I don't know. But I'm looking for about 259.12 on NVIDIA. Second stop would be 261.34. And then again, if things are really bullish, probably 263.57. I don't know if that quite happens. To the downside, I'm looking at 245.19, and then probably about 242.76. So a lot of the move happened pre-market on NVIDIA already. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit more downside to it, but risk to reward side is actually probably more to the bullish side. We will see. Cannabis stocks are looking good. Yeah, we can pull up Tilray. I didn't check them out today, but we are getting some bullishness. I did see somewhere that at least Tilray was moving. We do have a little bit of resistance somewhere, probably about this $8 range. $8, nice whole number. On a grand scheme of things, these stocks are definitely beat up. I just don't know personally, for me, if like I don't have any cannabis stocks in the long term. I don't know. I much prefer like a DraftKings, honestly, than a Tilray. But we do have some news of in the cannabis industry. They are starting to legalize things. Again, I think it is buy the rumors, sell the news and that's just my opinion on it. It's a plant. I mean, if it's legalized everywhere and decriminalized everywhere, what's to stop you from growing it yourself? Right? I mean, realistically. But like that's why I kind of like DraftKings better, just because if that's legalized everywhere and accepted worldwide, you're not going to bet against yourself. You can't. It's physically impossible. You could actually, but you'll never win or never lose. So, but yeah, you are making some kind of pump. You have a little bit of resistance up there. Let me see Tilray, how far this thing could actually go today, though. Tilray. It does look different than the market, though. 100%. Like that basis alone, I like. Yeah, you have right at 785 is your first point of control. If this thing moves, I'm looking about 797. I don't know that we have a lot of upside range. The highest one, like on a great day for Tilray, the biggest point of resistance I think comes in at 883, which is a good move. But again, we would need this thing. We have a bunch of resistance in the way prior to that. So anything above 832, you could play to the upside to about 880. And if it starts to break that, it becomes a little bit more exciting as far as being able to trade, because we have levels that are much higher at that point. If you are a believer in the cannabis industry, and I mean, I'm not stopping you from picking up a couple shares, seeing what happens. But otherwise, it is a gap and go stock today. So yesterday we did get some selling. It is a fairly nice gap. I wish this thing would open closer to 790, probably about really anything above $8. So like if it could get to like 802 pre-market, that would be pretty fantastic. Just because we have some volume that comes in there. So you do have a gap and go, and then we'd be trapping just a little bit more people as well. All right, let's take a look at Delta. There is some news in the airlines. None of it involves Delta, though. You are getting a little bit of a gap down. So I believe JetBlue is making a bid to buy out Spirit Airlines. So we'll see if that goes through, or I think there's going to be some kind of court dispute over that. But so I don't think it's going to be a quick process if it does happen. But I believe Save is moving for that. Otherwise, Delta's gapping down a little bit. We are gapping actually below some of those moving averages. We're still above the 21, which will act as some type of support. It is a retest gap as well. So again, probably leaning bullish. Let me see targets on this thing. Man, 38, 34 is actually going to be a little bit of resistance. To the downside, we're probably looking at about 37.96. After we start breaking 37.75, that's when we have a lot of room. That would take us to about 36.80, but it's just been very difficult. It's been relatively choppy. We were kind of in some kind of pennant pattern. With this gap, we did break down. It is a retest gap. I would expect some kind of buying. We might get stuck at that 38, 34 zone. So I would definitely give that one a couple of minutes. Apple. Honestly, I probably just won't trade Delta. And you do have some news in the industry, but it's not really positive for Delta if a merger or buyout happens. Rock says no room for it in sports betting. Same pain. Yeah, exactly. So this is right now opening close. If this opens here, about 172.56 in that range. Tesla looked a little bit worse than this one because we're still above this little bit of a high wave. If this price point breaks, so this 171.92 could be some downside. We're still stacked bullish. So all of our moving averages on smaller to larger time frames are stacked higher to lower. So still bullish. You do have a little bit of a double top on Apple. And if we start to break that, we could see some kind of pullback reversal again. If we draw some kind of a fib, we'd probably be, if I just roughly draw it, probably about 165 would be target, would be a 50% retrace. But right now it is still sitting bullish in every direction. To the downside again, it's going to be probably a little bit more choppy to the downside. And we're looking at, and Apple, by the way, is very tough to short. Just from a perspective, it's Apple. It's just massive. These guys, they do pay dividend. It's very small, but for a tech company, that's good. To the downside, we're probably looking at 171.95-ish. Anything that breaks 171.71, that's going to be the trade. That would take us to about 169. So we'll have about $1.70 on that move. And if it could break that 169 ever, we're looking at about 164.50, which probably puts us right about that 50% retrace. But we do have that double top in there. I'll watch it again. The 10 EMA strategy, all of the moving averages are probably going to be above us, both extended and non-extended time. So we might have to be patient, might not be able to catch officially the bull trades using that strategy. It doesn't mean we can't trade it. I just can't take it officially for team play. All right, what's the Roblox RBLX? We got 6 more minutes. So we're gapping down on Roblox, kind of like everything else. This one actually might not even qualify at open. We have to see a little bit further of a drop. Targets on Roblox up and down. You probably get some kind of a sell in Roblox out of the gate, I think, actually. A little bit of a sell. And I'd probably be looking for 46.80 is target 1. And the next target, which is a much bigger target, that would be about $45.70. If we start at all breaking $45.70 and we get some candles to close there, honestly, the next target is not until $41.17. That's the day trade I would love. But we have a couple of moves in between there as far as points of control. And my right now bigger target is about $45.70. So that's going to be the key number that I want to watch out for. If we get some kind of a bounce higher, I think that's going to come into today at least 48.55, and we would have about $50.05 is my bigger picture target, which again might not happen today. It might be a little more choppy. As far as fear goes, yeah, people wake up today. They're going to have a lot more fear in the market. Gap fill to the downside for Tesla. That's a good question. So there is the gap to the downside for Tesla. I do think that gets filled. I would want to and think that out of the gate today, we probably run a little bit more bullish. I think because now we're going to have this gap here today as well, based on where this thing opens. I would like to see a bullish move and then short it. But yes, I do think that gap on the daily over here will get filled at some point. I just think that probably out of the gate, maybe see a little bit of bullish buying, retest that gap, and then come down. So again, 10 EMA, we're probably not going to be able to take a bullish play. I do think we get some kind of a retest into that zone, but then we look for probably some kind of fade. And at some point, this fades. And again, my target on it is $1,007. So we still have a little bit more room to fall. After that, we'll have to look for some more further out targets. Uptrend wise, here's how uptrend. So the longer it hangs out in this zone up here, obviously the higher that this upper trend continues out. Right now, I mean, if this is the worst day of the history of Tesla, that puts us about 865. That's going to be the strong holding point, at least today, right? But I don't think we get there. I don't think we even get close to there. This line, the longer out we go, the more just trades sideways, some up, down, as it starts to approach this line. This line is going to start moving higher, but that would be our uptrend line that ultimately we want to try to hang into. Otherwise, possibly today, $1,007 could happen. For that to happen, I think we need a very bullish, fill that gap early and then reverse. If it takes all day for us to fill that gap, or most of the day, then it's going to be very, very tough. Again, we will have some outside news. We are going to have the Fed coming in. They're going to be talking today. Be careful of that. Usually they release their notes about 2 p.m. Eastern, and then about 2:30 we'll probably hear from Jay Powell. So just be careful trading. Be careful. Know when some of those key events are happening, when the markets move. If you're in a day trade or thinking about a day trade, either be out closer to that 2 p.m. Eastern time zone. And if you're thinking about a day trade getting in, just make sure you have stops, or just maybe avoid it until we know a little bit more. The markets do not like not knowing things. They prefer to have all the cards on the table to make safer plays, safer investments. So getting into a day like today, we don't know enough. We will know a lot more about 2:30 to 3 o'clock today of which way the market actually wants to go. If it's exactly as expected, we probably see a bullish run. If we do make a rate hike, we probably, like, if something goes not normal in that meeting, we get a little bit of surprise, we will most likely see some kind of a drop. But I think the timing of when the announcement came out yesterday that the dovish girl went a little bit more hawkish, that was I was almost kind of like they're softening us up for a rate hike. So again, we'll see how everything plays out. Market is open right now. YouTube, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe. Check out Real Life Trading for all of the content, free beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes as well. If you guys are not understanding pretty much anything I'm saying, it's either two reasons as to why. One, it's because I don't make a lot of sense. But two, it could also just be the terminology that we're using, and that would all be covered in those classes as well, so you get a better understanding. Tesla's out of the gate bullish so far. We are starting to get those, at least a little bit of buying coming in, pretty much across the board, except for Delta is throwing in a little bit of a hammer. Roblox, again, I'm looking for almost a fade out of the gate. That one's starting to sell. Let's see. I know I still got. I don't want to leave my YouTube friends. We're just chilling. We're just hanging out, chilling, seeing how this market develops. But all good things come to an end, and I do have to shut down the room. So YouTube, appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, and I'll personally be back on with you guys on, I believe, Wednesday. Not 100% sure, but I believe Wednesday. You guys are awesome. I will catch you guys later.